Well, guys, I was one of the lucky people able to get a PlayStation 5 a couple of months ago. And I bought a couple of the games that I've always wanted to play, God of War being one of them, and the other one being Ghost of Tsushima. And I'm going to be honest with you, I did not expect this game to be as good as it was. I spent the last couple of weeks playing through it, and genuinely, it has blown my mind. So I just wanted to make a video kind of talking about my thoughts on the game, and I'm going to try my best to avoid spoilers, but if there are spoilers, I'll give you a warning. Let's get to it. Well, as I said before, I played through the game, and what I mean by that is I did beat the main story, and I'll be honest with you, even just beating the main story provided so much content that the price I paid for the game was completely worth it. I ended up paying $80 for the game on the PS5, the director's cut of the game, and I was a little down about that at first, but after playing through it, I think it's totally justifiable. Not often do I give a game a pass for being above $60, and this is one of those exceptions. My plans for the game are, as I completed the main story, I definitely plan on 100%ing this game. And let me tell you why. So playing through the main story really highlights for me the gameplay of the game. And by gameplay, I'm bringing in combat, I'm bringing in environment, I'm bringing in everything that, like walking even, feels good in this game. And something I really appreciated were the animations that you can do with the swipe pad. When you swipe right, you can sheathe your weapon or unsheathe your weapon. You swipe left, you can pull out a flute that changes the weather. And if you swipe down, you can bow. And these things don't bring any sort of like importance to the actual story or anything like that, but it really allows you to get invested, or not even invested, but it makes you feel just very inside of the game, and that's something that's super important to me in any game. There's not a lot of games that have done that for me. I think a really good comparison for this game, I think that this game does for Japan and Japanese culture what Red Dead Redemption 2 does for the American West in the late 1800s, early 1900s. And by that, what I mean is you feel like you're there, and you feel super involved in these cultures that you've never been a part of or seen before, and not in this way anyway. And that's something that I've really enjoyed about Ghost of Tsushima. The story is something that I didn't expect to be as emotionally manipulating as it is. I got very emotionally invested in these characters. Jin, the main character, who is this samurai who has gone through a lot of stuff in his life, you know, and at the beginning of the game, I mean, you see, you know, just like what drives him to be the character he becomes throughout the rest of the game. with the help of some side characters like Yuna and his uncle Shimura, is also a character I got more attached to than I thought I would. Even some of these side characters that were not as prevalent in the actual story, I actually got attached to them. And that tells me a lot about how much effort the developers were putting into the story. I love that. I love the story in this game. Also, it took me quite a while to get through it. You're going through the main campaign, it's through 3 different regions, and I was spending quite a while in each region, and I would estimate you're probably looking at like 50 hours, and that could be a total overestimate because it just felt like, I don't know, I was getting distracted, okay?
A samurai, a warrior, emboldened in armor and living in honor.
You know, I was doing random things if I saw them on the map and all that. So, but the story is absolutely fantastic, and I love it. In fact, the story being so good actually makes it kind of frustrating that this is a PlayStation exclusive, and I hope that they can port it over to PC, or that they decide to port it over to PC. As for plans, like they did with God of War, right? As for plans to do that, I'm not sure if they're planning on doing that, but Sony would be missing out. They would be remiss if they did not port this to PC. Another aspect of the game that I wanted to talk about was the soundtrack. The soundtrack absolutely blew me away. In fact, I've been listening to it at work. In my, like, during work, which is crazy. And people have, like, asked, they could hear it kind of, like, through my headphones, like, what are you listening to? I'm like, well, it's just a really awesome soundtrack that in this game that I'm playing called Ghost of Tsushima. And, I've been able to show it to some people, and even they are like, wow, this is beautiful. And I couldn't agree more. The soundtrack is very well done and very well implemented into the story and into your environment. And I absolutely love that. A game who is able to use the soundtrack as a benefit to the already amazing story and environment, that tells me that there's passion in the development, and I love that a lot. Overall, I'm going to give Ghost of Tsushima a 9 out of 10, and I think that's completely justified. If any of you have a PlayStation, I would definitely recommend giving this game a shot. It is absolutely mind-blowing. At the end of the campaign, had me in tears. I'm a 6'6", 25-year-old man, and I was crying because of the story. At the end of the story, like, it's so good, and I genuinely recommend this to anybody. And the only reason it didn't get a 10 out of 10 is because it's not available on anything else aside from PlayStation. And like I said, Sony would be remiss not to port this to PC. And it's sad that a lot of people won't be able to experience this. I get that it's a business, but yeah, you lose a point for that, Sony and Ghost of Tsushima. So sorry about that, but yeah. So guys, that's my review of Ghost of Tsushima, and I know I haven't posted in a bit, but more content coming, and I'm starting to get a schedule kind of installed for my content creation, and I'm excited to keep making videos. Right now, we're probably just looking at 1 video a week. Hopefully, that's okay, but I'm trying to start pumping out more YouTube videos, as I'm having trouble with streaming right now until I can move out of the place that I currently live. So that's the situation there. But if you want to, follow me on Twitch at Ivan's Gaming Hub. And if you like the video, drop a like, drop a subscribe. More content is coming. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Thank you so much for your support. And have a good one.